Summertime, of course, means hitting the beach, but a string of shark attacks in the Northeast is putting swimmers on high alert.
Meeting a wild animal is an incredible experience, but it can vary greatly, from thrilling to downright terrifying. From the giants of the seas to the guy who survived a terrible shark attack, here's 20 shocking wild animal encounters. Number 20. Incredible triple whale breach stuns onlookers in Canada. This is what a whale watcher might just call a dream come true. 3 humpback whales put on a beautiful show for some lucky people in Canada, off the coast of Nova Scotia. These people on a whale tour saw 3 whales jump into the air in what looked like a coordinated routine. Someone on the boat said, get ready, it's going to be a triple breach." Humpback whales are strong swimmers. They use their huge tail fin, called a fluke, to move through the water and sometimes even out of it. Like other whales, they often breach. When whales breach, they jump out of the water and land with a huge splash. Scientists aren't sure if whales breach for a reason, like to get rid of bugs on their skin, or if it's just something they do for fun. Edmund Guerrero was on the cruise and started filming the 3 whales that came up near the boat. The 3 whales were logging by the boat for a few minutes before they took off. On the cruise video, you can see the whales dive down and then jump up one at a time. It's a triple breach that made people shout out with joy. That's really rare, you don't see these a lot. People also know humpback whales for their magical songs that travel a long way through the waters of the world. These patterns of moans, howls, cries, and other sounds are very complicated, and they can last for hours. Scientists are trying to figure out what these sounds mean by studying them. Most likely, humpback whales sing to talk to each other and attract possible mates. Number 19. Huge bull shark repeatedly attacks fishermen in canoe. This huge shark keeps attacking 2 canoes full of people in Florida, as seen in this remarkable video. In the clip, which was shot off the coast of Key West, a fisherman is in the canoe trying to catch a bull shark when the huge fish comes out of the water and crashes into both the canoe and the one right next to it. Watch out! Watch out! The attack is so strong that the fishermen and passengers are almost thrown into the water. The shark keeps going and hits the canoes a few more times before letting go of the line and swimming away. This is one shark that you should not mess with. Many experts say that bull sharks are the most dangerous sharks in the world. This is because they're very aggressive, and they hunt in places where people like to swim, like along tropical shorelines. Sharks need salt to stay alive, and most sharks can only live in salt water. But bull sharks are able to keep salt in their bodies even when they're in freshwater because of the way their kidneys work and a special gland near their tails. Scientists are still trying to figure out why these sharks have this strange skill. Bull sharks eat just about anything, but most of the time they eat fish. They also sometimes eat sea turtles and dolphins, and even other sharks are food for bull sharks. Number 18. Family gets a shock after pride of lions enter their house. When a South African couple went to check on a property they owned, they were surprised to find a family of lions settling themselves on the deck. David De Beer and his wife Mariska were amazed to see 6 big cats relaxing on the patio. The couple didn't seem to bother the squatter lions at first, but the sound of the door closing as they walked in scared them. The big cats finally walked into the garden in the town of Hoedspruit, where the video was taken. David said that he and Mariska went to his father's house on Leadwood Estate to check it out as it's for sale, but they found that someone had already moved in. Between Kruger National Park and Blyde River Canyon, big cats are free to roam over 5,500 hectares of unspoiled bushveld, and the occasional human home. Well, I'd hate to see how much it costs to feed these kitties. Number 17. Man halts charging elephant in Thailand. This fearless Thai tourist stood up to an elephant that was coming at him and stopped it with just a wave of his hand. Tor Bowling was in northern Thailand's Phu Luang Wildlife Sanctuary when the elephant came charging out of the thick jungle right at him. But instead of screaming and running for his life, which would have been any normal person's reaction, Mr. Bowling just held up his hand to the animal, which stopped, turned around, and walked away. Is he some kind of wizard? A Jedi, perhaps? Mr. Bowling, an engineer from Kanburi near Bangkok, said that he quit his job because he was bored and spent a month traveling around his country while he looked for a new direction in life. He and his friend, Navi Kaitsak, were walking down a path at Phu Luang on their way back to civilization after seeing a fossilized dinosaur footprint. Honestly, this story is already cool to me. About 100 wild Asian elephants live in the reserve. The Elephants Rehabilitation Project, which is funded by the Thai royal family, takes care of these elephants. When he saw the elephant for the first time, which is not shown in the clip, he stopped and looked at it. Mr. Bowling acknowledged that he was scared. He said that reaching out his hand to stop the animal was just his first instinct, not something that he had planned. As the animal walked away into the bush, Mr. Bowling showed how calm he was by holding up his camera and taking a few pictures of it for his photo album. Number 16. Cheeky monkey makes itself at home on woman's head. Without a doubt, one of the funniest and most interesting animals has got to be a monkey. Maybe it's their cheeky faces or the way that they act kind of like us that makes us think of ourselves. They look so much like people that it makes us feel like we know them. I certainly went to high school with some kids who behaved like this right here. This monkey lives in Bali, Indonesia, in the Ubud monkey forest. It's a safe place for the monkey troop, where they can roam around freely and live a very natural life. Tourists can walk through the forest and watch the monkeys if they want to. The monkeys sometimes get very interested in the tourists. This lucky tourist needed a break from walking, so she sat on a wall. The monkey was quick to jump down from the trees and climb up on her shoulder. It was hard to tell if the little guy wanted to play with her hair, or if he was hoping to get a treat out of her pocket. But the person visiting the sanctuary was thrilled to meet such a friendly little monkey. Even though these animals are still in the wild, they're used to people coming to see them, and they can be trusted enough to let them interact with them. Number 15. Diver has incredible face-to-face encounter with giant anaconda. A scuba diver exploring a river in Brazil ran into a 7-meter-long giant anaconda. Bartolomeo Bav and his friend were filming when they saw a big snake in the Formoso River. The two divers filmed the reptile as it looked at the camera and then moved along the riverbed. The rivers and lakes around Borneo were the only places in South America where anacondas live in clear water, so it's possible to dive with them. As the video shows, the anaconda swims calmly and peacefully, not caring at all that the men are there. Sometimes, the big snake comes closer to check out the camera and even licks the lens. The behavior of this anaconda debunks the myth that it's an aggressive and violent creature that endangers people's lives. On the other hand, if it decides it wants to eat you, it could be bad news. After suffocating its victim, an anaconda can spread its mouth very wide, and this snake has a big mouth. It can open its mouth wide enough to swallow whole fish, rodents, caiman, wild pigs, small deer, and even jaguars because of its stretchy ligaments. Number 14. Large alligator saunters through Florida neighborhood. This large alligator was caught on video by Florida sheriff's deputies as it crawled through a front yard and into a nearby lake. The gator was about 10 feet long, according to the deputies who responded to the emergency. The Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission was informed by the sheriff's office. They also told the neighbors to be careful because the alligator walked down to Harrington Lake on Easter morning just to take a swim, so it would be better if no one else had the same idea. As the gator made its slow trek through the residential area, it left quite an impression on the stunned neighbors, some of whom had never seen such a large gator up close. Despite their fearsome reputation, alligators are generally shy and avoid humans unless provoked. However, Florida residents are no strangers to such sightings, as the state is home to a large population of alligators that often wander into urban areas. Once, there were almost no American alligators left. In 1967, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service put them on a list of species that were in danger of going extinct. The legal protection worked, and happily, the American alligator was taken off the list just 20 years later. Over 1 million of these reptiles are alive today, even though they were almost completely wiped out. Now, the biggest threat to alligators is the destruction of their habitat, which comes from things like draining, building on wetlands, and climate change. Number 13. Deer attacks while filming Kentucky afield. This video from 1989 called The Great Deer Attack is a great reminder of how dangerous a buck can be. At the Salado Wildlife Education Center, where a Kentucky afield TV show segment was being filmed, a white-tailed deer got angry and attacked host Dave Shuffett, biologist Lauren Schaff, and KDFWR worker Johnny Whitner. You can hear the men talking about how a deer's antlers work while they point to the buck, which seems to be very calm. The camera moves towards the deer, which runs at them. In an instant, the buck's demeanor shifts from calm to aggressive, charging the men with its sharp antlers. The sudden attack catches them off guard, and you can see the panic as they try to fend off the furious animal. The men fight with the deer, trying to get it under control while staying away from its dangerous antlers. At one point, the buck's antlers come dangerously close to injuring the host, narrowly missing his side as they struggle. In the video, you can hear one man say they should just let it go, but the buck's too angry, and it keeps pushing and fighting with the men. In the end, they ask the person behind the camera to turn the camera off and help. The fight went on for almost 45 minutes. With the help of a few other workers, the deer was finally caught. Whitner was cut during the fight, and he had to have minor surgery to fix his leg. The intense encounter serves as a reminder that even seemingly docile wildlife can become dangerous in an instant. In this situation, what would you have done? Number 12. Moment tourist experiences close encounter with young leopard. This is the amazing moment when a tourist on a safari gets very close to a young leopard, and things almost go terribly wrong. The video was taken in northern Botswana's Okavango Delta. It shows the leopard coming up to a jeep and sniffing a tourist's leg before scratching it with its claws, leaving the tourist with a cut. The driver of the jeep quickly starts the car to get away from the danger. The cat can then be seen running away from the car, probably because the sound of the jeep's engine scared it. He just seemed like a big pussycat, the guy said. Leopards are fast cats. They can run up to 58 kilometers per hour. They're also very springy and can jump 6 meters forward in the air, which is more than the length of 3 tall people lying head to toe. Leopards like to be alone and spend most of their time by themselves. Each leopard has its own territory, and to keep other leopards away, it scratches trees, pees on them, and poops. Males and females will cross into each other's territories, but only to mate. These big cats have a wide range of foods that they like to eat. They eat bugs, fish, antelope, monkeys, rats, deer, and all kinds of other animals. In fact, they'll eat pretty much anything they can find. Leopards talk to each other by making a lot of different sounds too. For example, a male leopard will make a raspy, hoarse cough to let another leopard know he's there. They also growl when they're angry and purr when they're happy and calm, just like a house cat does. Number 11. Man survives close encounter with cheetah on safari. A Seattle man stays as still as possible in this video from an African safari after a cheetah jumps into his car. Britton Hayes was in the Serengeti's Joel Kudu area watching these cheetahs hunt when one of the big cats came over to take a closer look at him. Hayes said it was too late to drive quickly away or anything like that because you don't want to startle the animals. That's when things usually go wrong. One of the cheetahs jumped into the back seat. Hayes could feel his heart racing, but he knew that any sudden movement or noise might trigger the cheetah's predatory instincts. His guide, well-versed in wildlife behavior, calmly instructed him to remain still and slow his breathing to avoid alarming the animal. This doesn't happen very often, but guides were ready for it. The guide told Hayes to slow down his breathing so the cheetah would feel at ease. The cheetah, curious but seemingly uninterested in attacking, sniffed around before finally jumping out of the vehicle. Honestly, it was probably one of the scariest moments of my life. When it was happening, I felt like I had to clear my mind of any thoughts because, from everything you're told about predators like that, they can sense fear and any sort of discomfort you're feeling and they'll react accordingly, said Hayes. I wanted to be as calm and as still as possible to avoid a bad outcome. Hayes also said that the experience made him feel alive and like he could do anything after making it through this. It's a moment he'll never forget, one that transformed both his appreciation for wildlife and his understanding of his own instincts. Number 10. Angry hippo chases after boat in Kenya. This is the scary moment when an angry hippo chased a speedboat full of tourists in Lake Victoria, Kenya, to get them out of its territory. For hippos are calmly enjoying the water as the boat gets closer, but one of them makes it clear that he does not like the tourists. The semi-aquatic animal jumps forward and starts to chase the tourist's boat as it makes a loud guttural sound. The tourists start to move away in fear as the camera shows the hippo gliding through the water. What makes the situation even more intense is that hippos are known to be deceptively fast in water, capable of reaching speeds up to 19 miles per hour, much faster than most people expect from such a large animal. The boat speeds up, but the hippo's determination keeps it hot on their trail, and for a moment it looks like it might catch up. As it runs, the big animal dives into the water and only comes up briefly to breathe. Dick Muchina, who took the scary video, said he and his 3 friends had gotten into a boat to try to see a hippo. Muchina, a teacher of geography in Kenya, has already been chased by an angry safari animal before. Previously, he was on a jungle tour in Kenya's Masai Mara Game Reserve when a big giraffe came at him, and now he's had to deal with the hippo too. This guy has had some truly wild encounters. It seems like Muchina has a knack for finding himself in close calls with the wildlife of Kenya, adding another thrilling story to his collection. Number 9. Killer whale swims under paddleboarder. This is the scary moment when a surfer saw a killer whale swim under his paddleboard in the middle of the ocean. Luke Riley took this amazing video while he was surfing off of New Zealand's Kauai Tunu Beach. In the video, you can see the big animal swim for a few seconds behind the board before briefly coming up for air. The orca then dives back under the water and swims under the whole length of the board as Luke tries to keep the camera from falling over. At one point, the massive orca's dorsal fin nearly grazes the bottom of the board, giving Luke a close-up view of the predator's immense size. The calmness of the moment is deceiving, as the killer whale's presence below the surface is a stark reminder of its raw power. One way these big marine animals hunt is by pushing seals off ice. Killer whales live and hunt together in family groups called pods, much like a pack of wolves. In fact, they're often called the wolves of the sea, and this is why this moment was so scary. But they're also not known to attack humans in the wild. Known to attack humans or not, their power is awesome and you have to respect it. Number 8. Shark lands on boat, thrashes on bow. After leaping out of the water, a huge mako shark jumped onto a boat full of fishermen in New Zealand, just like a scary scene from the movie Jaws. Ryan Churches, the captain of Churches Charter NZ, was taking 5 customers fishing off the coast of Whitianga when suddenly the huge shark decided, what a ride! Churches said he started to worry that he might have to help the shark get back into the water because it was flailing around so much. That makes sense, since mako sharks are considered aggressive predators even by shark standards and are the fastest shark species on Earth, with cruising speeds of up to 31 miles per hour and burst speeds of about 46 miles per hour when chasing prey. Makos are also known to jump out of the water when hunting, similar to the scary videos you see of great white sharks jumping after seals. They can grow to be 12 feet long and weigh more than 1,200 pounds. But everything worked out in the end, and the shark got back into the water unharmed. Number 7. Wild cassowary. If you see a wild cassowary, you should do the following if you want any chance of survival. Look them in the eye, move away, and hold something in front of you, preferably like a giant metal shield. When a wild cassowary charged these folks, they were able to catch it on film. Luckily, this bird seemed more interested in what was going on than getting angry. These are the original angry birds. Most people don't know how dangerous these things are. The kicks from these things are strong enough to tear you apart. She did so well to keep her cool under pressure from these terrifying birds. Cassowaries look like a turkey and a velociraptor got together and had an angry kid. Cassowaries have a 5-inch claw on one toe of each foot, and they don't mind water. They can use these claws to kick out quickly. The cassowary is called a murder bird for a good reason. It and the emu are 2 of the few species of birds that have been proven to have killed people. Cassowaries charge, kick, and sometimes jump on top of the person they're attacking. They can jump up to 5 feet in the air. Cassowaries do best when left alone, like many wild animals that aren't meant to live with people. They just want to eat plants and small animals for the rest of their lives, sometimes fighting with inanimate objects. Number 6. Golfer attacked by kangaroo on fairway. In Australia, we're now looking at a dangerous kangaroo crashing into a golfer. The amazing video is thought to have been taken at Sanctuary Cove Golf Course on the Gold Coast, Australia. Obviously, Australia starts with an angry marsupial bouncing aggressively toward a player wearing a blue polo shirt. One man is backing away and trying to hide next to a golf cart with his playing partner. The kangaroo isn't moving. As the tension builds, the golfer attempts to shoo the animal away, but it only seems to make the kangaroo more determined. The big marsupial stands its ground, staring down the golfer, who nervously tries to protect himself with one of his clubs. The golfer then tries to protect himself with one of his clubs, but he slips, and the big animal attacks him. Kangaroo attacks are rare, but these unpredictable animals can be dangerous, especially when they feel threatened or cornered. Players say the kangaroos have been attacking them for years, but the animals still roam the fairways, which definitely spices up the otherwise very calm game of golf. The encounter is a reminder that, in Australia, even a peaceful round of golf can turn wild in an instant. Number 5. Woman takes a selfie as bear sniffs her hair on a hiking trail. What is going on here out in the middle of nowhere? This is a bit more than she might have expected on her afternoon hike. The black bear is a very interesting animal. They like to sniff around and find easy ways to get food. They're also known to feel at ease when people are around. But do people feel at ease when black bears are around? Well, that depends. When you see a bear, you'd probably get a little nervous and wouldn't be able to think about anything else but the big bear in front of you. This woman, on the other hand, must have ice running through her veins because she didn't seem to care at all. In Mexico, a black bear went right up to this woman and started sniffing her all over. As the bear sniffs, the woman stays so calm that it's almost hard to believe. The bear stands on its back legs and noses her, right up to her head. She even got a picture of herself with the bear while it was standing over her shoulder. The bear walks away but then turns around, bites her leg, and swipes his paw at her. But she doesn't move a muscle. In a situation like this, it's very important to stay calm, and it's likely that this was the right choice. But that scary calm would have made my heart beat right through my chest. She's really cool. Number 4. Elk attacks man in the USA. Staff at Great Smoky Mountains National Park had to kill an elk after it repeatedly headbutted a photographer and poked him in the head with its antlers. The photographer did the right thing and tried to act submissive by sitting down on the side of the road, but the elk would not give up. This video of the event shows the elk attacking him over and over with its sharp antlers until he finally gets away. The photographer in the video, James York, said he was sad and speechless after the animal was killed. Mr. York could not have done anything better in the situation, and the rangers were quick to tell him so. Unfortunately, the elk had been acting dangerously and aggressively for a while, so they had to kill him. Elk used to live all over North America, but they were killed off and forced to move to more remote areas. Gee, I wonder why. They're kind of angry with us. Today, they mostly live in the western part of North America, especially in mountainous areas like the National Elk Refuge in Wyoming and Yellowstone National Park. Some eastern U.S. states have reintroduced small herds of elk into wilderness areas with a lot of trees. Number 3. Orangutan grabs woman's arm and refuses to let go. During a trip to the Indonesian jungle, an orangutan wouldn't let a woman go after taking her hand. The woman's boyfriend took a video of the two of them having fun with the orangutans in the green forest. At first, the ape grabs the man's hand and tries to pull him into a different part of the Bukit Long village. But when the man won't move, the orangutan grabs the hand of the man's girlfriend instead. The two of them start to laugh at the situation, but the woman gets scared when the ape tries to bite her. The orangutan is given a banana to try to get her to let go of her hand, but she doesn't. When a baby orangutan joins the mother and starts nibbling on her food, the couple starts to enjoy the experience again. But when the orangutan is done eating, she tries again to bite the woman's hand. After a while, the orangutan finally lets go of the woman's hand when it softens. So here's the orangutan's POV. People give me fruit. If I don't let go of them, I get more fruit the longer I hang on, so I never let go. Number 2. A boy playing with a stingray. Next, we're taking a look at this video of a boy playing with a big stingray in Texas. People can't believe how close the child gets to the big fish. For one thing, it's probably not a good idea because stingrays can hurt people with their nasty sting. But it seems that the young guy wasn't expecting this encounter. The boy was standing on the water's edge when he suddenly felt something splash at his feet. The barb stinger of this big stingray is easy to see, and even though they don't generally attack people, if someone steps on one, it could use its stinger. Steve Irwin, who was the star of the TV show Crocodile Hunter, died in 2006 after being stung in the heart by a stingray. The boy is seen coming up behind the ray before the birthing process is shown. Stingrays are ovoviviparous, which means they carry their eggs inside their bodies until they hatch. These guys are pretty unique because they don't have any bones in their bodies. Instead, their skeleton is made of cartilage, which is the same material that makes up your ears and nose. Rays come in a wide range of sizes. The short-nosed electric ray is the smallest one. It's about 10 centimeters wide and weighs about 400 grams. The largest ray is the oceanic manta ray, which can grow up to 7 meters long and weigh 2,000 kilograms. That's a lot of ray. Number 1. Woman left in neck brace after giraffe injured her during safari park proposal. When you ask someone to marry you, you want to make a memory that will last forever. So it makes sense that a ready-to-pop-the-question groom did so during a close encounter with an animal at a safari park. But a giraffe tried to steal the show from the bride-to-be. Unfortunately, the interruption was also a painful experience for her. She also says that after her wedding day, she had to wear a neck brace thanks to this hooligan giraffe. In the video, Montserrat Cox's now husband asks her to marry him, and she smiles and laughs with joy. He gets down on one knee while the two of them are watching a giraffe at a safari park. She can be seen smiling and nodding as her partner slides the ring onto her finger. But a hungry giraffe comes along. After stopping to look at the two, the animal swings its head as it walks away and catches Montserrat. She was lucky that she was still able to enjoy the moment and that she got better quickly. Even though she was hurt, Montserrat said that her surprise was the best proposal ever. She also told commenters, "It hurt for a couple of days, but I was so happy I didn't notice. It was definitely the best day of my life," she said, even with the giraffe smack. What's your most memorable encounter with a wild animal? Will you give up palm oil to help out our orangutan friends? Let us know in the comments below. Also, check out our other cool stuff showing up on the screen right now. See you next time.